just, wow. Did they absolutely body this episode of Call of the Night today? Holy shit. From the ambiance to the music to the voice acting, this episode was by far the best episode of this show so far. Like, what? This was by far the episode I was the most excited for too, and they absolutely killed it. I have no complaints whatsoever. I think they did an absolutely phenomenal job today, and we're getting straight into it today. We're going to talk about Call of the Night episode 11 today, and just how crazy this episode is and the repercussions that it has moving forward. So our episode begins with Ko and Nazan coming to Nazana's house, actually, and discovering that she's got a bunch of furniture in her house now. She's finally filling up that empty-ass apartment of hers. And she comes to realize that, Ko, through all the jobs I've had recently, I've come to realize that I love money. I love money. Money's fantastic. It's amazing. And that she's finally going to take her other job more seriously as the cuddle buddy, which I still think is ridiculous. But hey, if people will pay for it. And she actually asked Ko to go out and find people for the business. So that's what he does. He's out scouring the city. And he's thinking to himself, I gotta find someone who looks really tired and could really use like a pick-me-up right now. And it's here that he runs into my favorite character in this show by far, Anko. Now this episode, they absolutely killed it. The ambiance in this scene, how the color of the entire world, this show that's known for being unbelievably colorful and vibrant, just is completely gone. They cut it all out. Everything is gray. Everything is brown. As he approaches her and says, wow, this lady looks super tired. And she definitely does. And she just looks at him and says, you want something from me? And Ko is able to say that, yeah, you just look like you're really tired and all that. So if you kind of want to, I guess we could go somewhere and talk about that. And he's super embarrassed because he starts thinking to himself like, oh, shit, she's going to think I'm hitting on her. But she actually gets up, smiles at him, and says, sure, why not? So they end up going to a coffee shop to talk. And it's here when they get here that Ko is desperately trying to dispel the misunderstanding. Like, no, I swear I wasn't trying to hit on you, I promise. And she's just like, aw, that's too bad. I was kind of flattered. I've been kind of lonely lately. Just completely teasing him the whole time. Because she knows he's going to get flustered by that. And frankly, she probably would have liked it too. And it's here while she's grinning at him that he realizes that she's messing with him. And he starts explaining what he's really trying to do. That I've just been soliciting people for this cuddle buddy business that my friend is doing right now. I've been looking for people that are sleep deprived. And she just answers him like, oh, so it is that kind of proposal. Why didn't you just tell me that? He's like, no, I swear it's not. It's nothing shady. Well, it's a little shady, but it's nothing like that. It's a girl that's doing it. And it's here that she kind of flips the script on him, saying, oh, so this is a part-time job for you, huh? An employer isn't legally allowed to have an underage person under the years of 18 years of age work between 10 and 5 a.m. If I were to say something like this business of yours would be gone. And it's a pretty intense scene, actually, because you can tell that she's half joking, half not. But then she's like, nah, I'm just kidding. My kind of job doesn't really go by the law. And it's here that Ko asks her, like, what do you do for a living? And she's a little hesitant, saying, I don't really like to discuss what I do with other people, but here. And she ends up handing him her business card. And it's revealed that she's a private detective, actually. And we get a funny little Detective Conan reference here, too, where Ko asks her, oh, do murders really happen in locked rooms? She's like, nah, I let Conan handle that. I investigate infidelity or interpersonal issues and such. And I also look into missing people at times. And it's here, actually, that Ko introduces himself, because they hadn't done that yet. And she's like, so, Ko, have you ever heard of a person named Akihito Akiyama? And she ends up showing a picture to him, and it's frickin' Akiyama from the previous episode with Siri. He's missing right now. And Ko tries to deny it. And this is when shit goes 180 and completely flips. She grabs Ko's arm, literally pulls him across the table, and stares directly into his eyes, saying, "Really? You don't know?" And this scene perfectly emphasizes the person that is Anko. This scene perfectly showcases just what kind of person she is. And after a good tense, 10 seconds, she lets him go and says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you like that." And she gets up to leave, saying, "Here's the tip for the drinks we had. Keep the change. If you hear anything about Akiyama, let me know from that card. Oh, and next time, you might as well really hit on me if you're gonna approach me, you know? You might as well really give it a try. I'll see you later." And she leaves like that, and Ko is just bewildered, like, yo, what a strange woman. And it's here that when Ko goes back to Nazuna's house and they're having a good time, we see Anko outside of the apartment saying, "I got a lot of good information out of that." Really implying that she knows Ko's situation already, and that maybe it wasn't so deliberate that they just happened, or maybe it wasn't so unintentional that they just happened to meet up like that. And it's here we get a scene with Mahiro, Ko, and Akira, actually, as they go and hang out. And Mahiro's plan is actually to sneak into the school and kind of create some memories with the two of them. Kind of have some fun between all three of them. Now, Akira is really hesitant to do this, obviously. She's kind of a stickler for the rules, let's just say that. And she's against breaking and entering, basically. But Ko is all for it. He's like, yo, let's do it. Let's have some fun. Now, take note of this scene. How Ko effortlessly vaults over the school gate, which is not small by any means. How he effortlessly jumps over it. And how Akira looks shocked by that. Remember this scene. Remember this down the line. And it's here that Miharu explains that, you know, because of our situation, things change dramatically, like Ko not coming to school. We just so happen to be able to stay in touch like we're doing now. But there could have been a real possibility where we might not have communicated again, ever. So I want to make memories with you guys while I can, right now. So they start going around the school and start just having fun, you know, experimenting with the ghost stories that are very common in Japan, about the 7 mysteries of the school, to Hanako in the bathroom, to the anatomical model dancing at night, to the piano that plays on its own while no one's there. They have fun going around the school and kind of reconnecting with each other, because this is the first time they've really all been together in quite a long time, so they're just having fun, and you can tell. But it's here that Mihiro actually mentions about a legend that is supposedly actually true, about how a teacher at this very school went missing 10 years ago. That it was actually a big news article in the papers and all that, and how it is actually true, and that sometimes the teacher appears in the classroom at night. So they go and check this out, and it's this moment right here that shit gets serious. The tone of the episode completely changes, and shit gets real. They open the door, and they actually do see a teacher there, and the ambiance is incredible. Just how the complete colorfulness of it all just completely takes over, showing that shit is different now. This isn't fun and games anymore. As the teacher saying, "You shouldn't be here. The night is dangerous. I was restraining myself this entire time. Today was my last day, but now I can't hold back. I think I want the girl." As he suddenly jumps Akira and attacks her, actually, pinning her to the ground. Mahiru tries to rip him off of Akira immediately, but Ko is just standing there shook, like, why is this happening? He knows what this is. He's seen this plenty of times already. He's shook. He's like, why is a vampire here right now? As he grabs a chair and actually smacks the shit out of him like it's WWE in here and knocks him out for a time being. And as Ko is holding Akira in his hands, he's saying, somehow I know that he's a vampire. I can just feel it. But something's different about him. They're supposed to be all pretty and sleek, but he's so unkept and like an animal. What's going on here? And it's here we get our money shot of the episode as Anko walks up and addresses the group. Again, the ambiance is perfect. All the color drains from this beautifully vibrant show. Everything turns black and white as she approaches, saying, I was on a different trail, but I guess this one will do. Rumors are very curious, aren't they? As she says, hello again, Ko. We meet again. As the only color in the scene is her blue lighter as she flicks it on. And they did such a phenomenal job in this scene. Ko immediately asks her, like, why are you here? And she just responds like, from my perspective, I'm more curious as to why you're here, Ko. As we transition back to the vampire teacher on the floor screaming that he can't hold back anymore, that he's tried for so long to hold back and stop himself, that he can't resist blood anymore. As Anko literally shows him his neck and says, will this do? Do you mind a woman that smokes? As the vampire suddenly loses his control and attacks her. And she lets it happen. She lets him do it. In fact, she's actually embracing him on the ground as he's drinking her blood. But this situation's a bit different than we normally do. He starts writhing on the ground after doing it. As she gets up, blood completely covering her entire neck, her upper body, as she asks them like kids, do you know what a vampire is? And the vampire in this situation is like, yo, is this supposed to taste so bad? And Ko takes note of that because he's always heard from other vampires that blood tastes really good. And it's here that Anko is able to confirm the situation. Like, I see. I wasn't sure until this very moment, but over these past 10 years, you haven't eaten anyone. You haven't consumed any blood at all, have you? And Ko is instantly shook by that. Like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. He just tried to drink Akira's blood. Like, what's going on here? And she's like, it makes perfect sense. He's restrained himself for 10 long years, and today is his breaking point. Like, he could not take it anymore. But Ko can't accept that. He's like, wait, why didn't he just drink blood then? I don't understand. And she just looks at him with a look of disgust. Like, you should really think before you talk a bit, Ko. As she says probably the most important line in this entire episode, why would anyone want to become a vampire? And it's here that she addresses the vampire teacher again, saying, it must have been so hard, hasn't it? You didn't know you became a vampire, did you? And he's like, no, I was tricked into becoming one. As she embraces him and tries to console him, saying, it has to have been so long since you communicated with someone, hasn't it? Because when he went missing 10 years ago, he completely cut contact with anyone. He basically went AWOL. He probably hasn't interacted with anyone for 10 years in fear of attacking them. He says that at first, I couldn't believe I turned into a vampire until I started to crave blood. And she's just consoling him the whole time, saying that must have been terrifying, wasn't it? And Ko is looking on this entire time, just completely shocked. His image in his mind of a vampire and how he's romanticized it the whole time has been completely shattered. It is gone. To say that the series will never be the same after this scene right here is no understatement. It will never be the same again. And again, this man says, this woman tricked me, but you can't fault me for falling in love, right? What a fool I was to fall in love with a woman like that. And Anko is still consoling him, saying, you must have suffered for so long. It is horrible what happened to you. So here, as she hands him a silver ring, she says, I'll let you die as a human. And he is immediately in pain the second he holds the ring, but she makes him clutch it and says, don't let this be the end for you. Remember what being a human was. You must have had it so tough. No one to praise you, no one to recognize you. So I alone will be the one to praise and recognize you. And as the sun comes up, she says, you can die as a human being, as his body materializes right then and there in the sunlight, and he dies. Everyone is looking on this scene completely dumbfounded, and Ko asks, is he dead? And she says, yes. He was able to die as a human being. But Ko gets pissed, like, how could you kill him? And she gets equally pissed right back, literally running up to him and picking his ass up by his collar, looking him dead in the eye. She explains that he was supposed to die today anyway, giving us a little bit more insight into what a vampire is. And she starts explaining that sometimes throughout my cases, I interact with vampires, and that sometimes my missing persons report is directly due to them. So I've had to find ways to deal with them. And again, like I said, I jumped the gun a little bit. Ko gets pissed here and says, why would you kill him? Yeah, he was supposed to die today anyway, but why would you kill him? And now she grabs his collar and gets in his face. And she immediately counters and says, so he should have lived as a monster? He struggled this entire time not knowing what he had become. And you're going to disregard all of that because of your little feelings? And it's here she says, Ko, you know nothing about vampires. And I have no intention of letting you achieve your stupid dream. Showing right away that she knows exactly what Ko's situation is. She knows what's going on, what he's trying to do, and she will not let him do it no matter what. And as she leaves, she gives one final warning of how you all better watch out. You don't know it, but vampires comes in all kinds. There are lots of different vampires out there. She ends up giving her card to Akira and Miharu in this situation, and then she leaves, and they are all shook to their core. And our episode ends beautifully with Ko walking down the street in broad daylight, actually, the complete opposite of what this show is known for, as he laments to himself that I really don't know anything about vampires. And the episode ends. And this episode was absolutely fantastic. This episode alone will completely flip the series on its head. Nothing will be the same again. Nothing. This episode is that significant. And from this point on, we're going to see the tone of this series shift dramatically. It's still going to feel the same most of the time, but the tone is going to shift dramatically far more often from now. So everyone get ready for that. And I think they did an absolutely incredible job with this episode. This was by far the episode I was the most looking forward to, and they absolutely killed it. They perfectly emphasized that Ko doesn't understand anything about his situation, how he's romanticized everything here, and he got slapped in the face with cold, hard reality in this scene, and I absolutely loved it. So you guys let me know what you think about this episode down below. I am incredibly curious to know what your guys' opinion are. Do you like this turn of events? Do you not like it? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, this episode was crazy. Oh, this series is only going to go up from here. I promise you that. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day. I'll see you guys.